What is the culture of education teaching your body? We spend a lot of time in education talking about pedagogy, small group, science lessons, paperwork, IEPs, 504, instructional practices, social emotional learning. We spend years talking about curriculum, but we have not spent yet enough time talking about what the education system does to the bodies of the very ones who allows teaching and learning to take place in the education system. If someone spent 25 years in education, what would their body learn? Would they learn that urgency is important? Would they learn that rest only happens on the weekend? Would they learn that they have to control when they drink water so that it can be calculated when they go to the restroom? Would they learn that rest only belongs on the weekends? Maybe the body learns that lunch can wait. Have you ever noticed that you can go a whole entire day before you realize that you had any water, before realizing you haven't gone to the restroom as much as you probably should have? What have you noticed by the end of the day? So think about an ordinary Tuesday. You show up to work. By the time you get there, whether you are at the district, whether you're in leadership, whether you're the superintendent, whether you're the teacher, whether you're the instructional coach, you realize that as soon as you show up to work, there is already urgency that is taking place. There's urgency in your emails, urgency with a colleague. There's urgency with the paperwork, urgency with a parent, with some type of instructional practice. There is always this urgency before you can get good into what you need to do with your responsibilities when you show up to work. And so because you are moving so much during the day, putting out fires, doing instructional practices, your responsibilities end up taking over what you're trying to do or need to do that is health related. So I don't believe that educators don't understand that they need to drink water, they need to release the toxins from their body, that maybe they need to eat the healthy meals. I think that something else is happening. So we have to be able to unpack culture and what that looks like in the education system. But first, when you think about culture, culture exists all around us. There's culture that exists with your family. There's a culture that exists military-wise. If you're in the military, there is culture that exists in your church. There is also culture that exists when it comes to education. Culture teaches through stories. It teaches through experiences. It teaches through praise, expectation, observation, repetition. So let's say, for example, culture teaches through observation. So let's say you are in your first year, or if you're not in your first year, I want you to think back to your first year when you were in education. There was probably this observation that you noticed from some other educators who put the education system and the urgency of it in front of their own needs. So with you observing that is a culture that was built possibly with you. Culture teaches through expectations. So in the schoolhouse, or think about even now, once you think about this last school year, or even the school year you're coming upon or the school year you're in now, culture teaches through expectations. What is the expectation of your school? What is the expectation of your role? Is the expectation that you will work at home? You would take work home? Is the expectation that you will go above and beyond? Is the expectation that you will, if someone asks for help, that you will stop everything that you're doing? Culture teaches through praise. So when it comes to teaching through praise, the person who stays the latest is often the one who is praised. The one who stretches themselves thin is often the one who is praised. But culture can also teach through stories. So who are you connected to? What have they said has allowed them to succeed? And if you listen to their stories, have their success come from sacrifice? So there is culture in education. So I'll never forget when it was about 2017, I was standing in the middle of my classroom. My heart starts beating crazy out of my chest. The ceiling starts feeling like it is spinning. And the first thought that I have was, what is going on? It's a planning period. I don't have any kids. But I realized, future me realized later on thinking back, well, that was a point in time where it was testing season. It was the end of the school year. There was the state test. There was the district test. There was the school test that we were given. There were so many tests, and I was in the beginning years of education. So I was already behind with the calendar, like really behind with the pacing, right? And so with all of that compounded, my body finally spoke to me. And so there was just this culture, again, going back to that culture of education, where it was, I would sacrifice in order for students to learn. What I realized happened is, as I made my way down to the nurse office, is she sat me down, she took my blood pressure, and she told me that my blood pressure was through the roof, right? And so she asked me if I wanted her to call an ambulance. I said, no, just call my husband. I'm out of here. I'm leaving early. So I ended up leaving, but on the way, as we were driving home, I could not help but think about what is happening to me. I had spent time in cardiac rehabilitation because, again, this is my second career, not my first. I spent time in cardiac rehabilitation. I spent time as a fitness trainer. I spent time as a group exercise instructor. I spent all this time in the space where I learned health. I had the bachelor's degree to back it up. I had all the credentials and the experiences, but for whatever reason, now that I'm in education, I left all of that behind. And I just showed up to teach. And I forgot everything that I needed to do for myself as I was teaching. So what ended up changing from that moment is I said, never again will I allow the education system to be the very reason why my health declines, why I'm dealing with high blood pressure, why my cholesterol is through the roof, why I'm barely eating, why I'm barely using the restroom, why I am rushing out every morning, why I'm not preparing my meals, why I'm not exercising, why I am just not in a good space when it comes to what my body needed. I was ignoring my body and everything that it needed instead of listening, slowing down and listening to what it needed, right? So my question to you is, what phrases have you become fluent in? Are you the "I'll start Monday"? Are you "I'll eat later"? "I'll rest after testing"? "I'll wait until the weekend"? "I'll get it done in the summertime"? "I'll, take care of this spring break, fall break, summer break"? I'll take care of my body in those moments. I'll take care of my appointments later once I feel like I'm in a good space with the curriculum. I will take care of eating healthy once we get out of this hiring season, once we have all the teachers in place. Which one of those sentences or those phrases do you often subconsciously repeat to yourself? Because what that means is you have caught on to the culture of education and have allowed it to become your own. There are some things in the culture that will cause you to bend over backwards, sacrifice, not for the success of students, but for the sacrifice of your mind and your body. I believe that educator health starts somewhere different than what most people would think. Most people would think that you got to start talking about food, nutrition, and movement. But I believe it starts somewhere else first. It doesn't start with another diet. It doesn't start with another fitness plan. It actually starts with your awareness. And so I want to give you this HEAL framework that I have written down. And so H stands for hear. Hear what your body has been trying to say. What has your body been saying? Typically year after year, especially the beginning of the year, midway through the year. Is your body saying it is fatigued? Is your doctor telling you you got high blood pressure? Is your cholesterol increased? Do you have constant tension in your jaws and in your shoulder? Do you lack sleep, right? Your sleep is very poor. Do you have a constant tension? Your body often whispers before it shouts. Have you been listening? Moving on to E in the HEAL framework, examine. You need to examine your health with curiosity instead of fear. Oftentimes, fear is what keeps you from calling the doctor, making the doctor appointment. It stops you from calling and getting your results after you have gone to the doctor, right? They draw your blood. They say, hey, we'll give you a call. They don't call you back, but you have fear, so you don't call them, right? Or you say, well, no news is good news, and that's actually fear talking. So you have to be aware. You have to examine, what is your blood pressure? What is your cholesterol? What is your blood sugar? What is your waist circumference? What is your BMI? Are you in the right place when it comes to your numbers? They are there to inform you, not to scare you. Next, we have A. A stands for adapt. I want you to adapt your strategy to the reality of education. So one thing I know about you, You are showing up and you're doing something, right? You are maybe walking, you're trying to make the healthy meals, you're doing something. But I want you to make sure that you are adapting your strategy to the reality of education. I have heard leaders come together who have been in a circle with one another saying, man, I did not eat all day. I was putting out a fire. I was sitting with this kid all day, or I was in meetings all day. And so I haven't even eaten yet. And here it is 4:30, right? And so you have to be able to adapt your strategy. If it is that you want to eat healthy, then how can you adapt healthy eating to your actual schedule, your schedule that is realistic to what you're going through in education? So the best health plan isn't the one that looks perfect on paper. You can go to any coach, we could write you up a plan, but whatever plan you have in place needs to be conducive and effective based off of your work day, your work schedule, okay? It is the best health plan is the one that still works in October, works in November, still works in May, and also works during Christmas break, summer break, winter break, all the breaks, okay? It doesn't just only work during the breaks when you feel like, oh, now I got time. No, you have time during the school year as well, okay? So the best plan will still work any of those days during the school year. And then last, lead. So whether you are leading in a classroom, a school, a department, or district, healthy leadership begins with healthy people. You cannot lead anybody, whether you are leading adults or children or parents, whoever you are leading, you cannot lead without first having a healthy foundation for yourself. The best you can't show up if you're fatigued. The best you cannot show up and lead if you're hungry. We talk about the students being hungry. You cannot lead your best self if you're extremely hungry day in and day out. Okay, so it's not just the kids who's hungry and can't learn. You're hungry too and you can't lead. Okay, so that goes for you too. So lead, whether you lead a classroom, a school, a department, however you lead, healthy leadership begins when you are healthy and have a healthy foundation. Okay, maybe the question isn't why are educators struggling to stay healthy? I don't think that is the question. Why can't they stay healthy? Why are they struggling with stress? Why are they struggling with their bodies and their minds? That is not the question at all. I believe the better question is, what has the culture of education been teaching your body all along? Because if the culture of education can teach you how to ignore your body, how to put it last, how to not prioritize it, I believe that we can also teach our bodies and teach ourselves how to build new patterns that move you back into a place where health becomes the priority. So here's what I would love for you to do this week. I want you to become curious. Become curious, become an observer of your own life. Every time you hear yourself say, I'll do it later, I'll eat later, I'll schedule that appointment later, I'll start over during the break, I want you to just pause for a second, okay? And then I want you to stop and say, what has the culture of education been teaching my body in this very moment? Awareness is the first step towards your transformation. So if this conversation made you think different about your own health, I would love for you to share this with someone in your network. Also, go ahead and subscribe so that you never miss the episodes that are uploaded weekly. These are conversations I believe we need to be having to make sure that we're not just teaching well, but that we are also leading while we're well, okay? So thank you for spending this time with me. I'll see you next week on Changing the Face of Our Wellness Podcast.